Israel is here and Israel is exist and it will continue to exist as a Jewish and democratic state. This is like the base that we're supposed to stay on, and then we can talk.
What is up, guys? We are in Jerusalem. I'm here with
Cherot.
Cherot.
Yes.
Cherot. Perfect. So I have a more conservative perspective politically when it comes to coexistence. Now, we were having a conversation and she was saying she had a different perspective, right? A little bit more moderate. Now, what is your kind of perspective on coexistence with Arabs, with Muslims? Like, what is your perspective and how can we kind of bridge a gap?
Wow, that's a big question. I think that
You have 30 seconds. No, I'm just kidding.
I think that we should build bridges through language, through connections, and try to get to know each other better and try to understand different cultures. I believe that if someone wants to live with peace, to live in peace with me, he's more than welcome, and I will be super happy to have him.
I think I'm pretty much the same. I mean, if somebody wants to live with me and wants to live in peace, I'm more than welcome. I guess for me, it's more an aggregate, the total culture, comparing them. There's obviously inconsistencies and incongruencies with different cultures. Obviously, there's ways for coexistence. I think we see it all the time from what I've seen. I grew up in America, so you're going to know better than me. But what are some ways you see the bridge being built between these two communities?
I think first of all is getting to know each other better and the history of each other, the narrative of each other, and the language of each other. This is the first step, and then understand that that we are all human beings. And I'm not like this kind of naive person that says, okay, we're all human beings, let's just, hang out. It's more than that. We should deeply understand the perspective of each other. And this is the first step to try to build something together, because we have to do something. Like, this situation cannot continue this way.
A lot of people say, okay, rather than the coexistence, they see more of like pockets where, okay, we have this community that's these people, this community that's these people. Obviously, that's impossible because we live amongst each other. My city specifically, even like, it's like everybody's within each other, right? So you're saying even deeper. Do you speak Arabic, or like what are you doing to bridge the gap personally?
So when I understood that the situation in Israel is much more complicated than what I thought and how I grew up, I decided to learn Arabic to try to understand the second side. And I learned actually being here. There is a college called Shalem College, and I was learning 3 years Arabic, the literature Arabic and the spoken Arabic, to try to understand and be able to connect and speak in their language. And I see also in my activities, also in how I react to people and try to understand, is I find out the way is much easier and shorter when we really truly understand each other.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. That's awesome. I mean, you're putting your money where your mouth is.
Yes, and I must say that Israel is here and Israel is exist and it will continue to exist as a Jewish and democratic state. This is like the base that we're supposed to stay on, and then we can talk.
Okay, that's a good segue, actually. So obviously there's a huge gap between the possibility and the willingness for coexistence with the people the Arabs specifically, or the Muslims, whatever you want to call it, with the ones that live in Israel and the ones, for example, that may live in Judea and Samaria, the West Bank, or in Gaza. Kind of, how do you see the difference, and how is your approach different? Is it different between the two groups, the ones that live within the Israeli territory and the ones outside?
It's very, very, very complicated. I think sometimes they don't see themselves as two groups. They see themselves as one group who just technically were separated because of history. I think the situation outside Israel is much more complicated than the situation inside Israel. I can say that the Arabs inside Israel have equal rights, has an Israeli passport. They are allowed to be anything they want. They can learn everything everywhere they want to. They can be the prime minister if they will be elected, and they can elect also. They can vote
Yeah, there's an Arab political party for sure.
And it's like 20% of the population. It's like a huge thing.
I was going to ask you. So, for example, like say you have Arabs that live in Israel. Say they celebrate when there's a bomb against Israel. Say they want to, or they have publicly said or privately said that they would like to establish a caliphate, establish an Islamic state, whatever it may be. Do you see them as people that you're willing to bridge a gap for, or is that bordering treason? How do you see that? I think there's a spectrum of people, and this isn't, I'm not going to say like this is the majority or this or that, but I'm saying like, do you see a difference between them? Like, what's your perspective on that?
I think that the people who is happy to see like a terrorist attack is I cannot build for now I cannot build a gap with I cannot build a bridge because the gap between us is very, very, very huge, but it doesn't mean that I won't try. And I think the wish to have a state of their own is something that I kind of can understand. But I think it comes with the attitude of like colonialism or occupation and these kind of things I disagree with.
Yeah.
Like okay,
And I was gonna have you because
I think like it's like we're getting to like very niche. Okay?
Yeah, it's detailed, but I think the devil's in the details because we have to explain our perspective. Like, for example, okay, so many people would say, okay, there's the desire for their own state. This is understandable, right? But for example, like between 1948 and 1967, Egypt controlled Gaza and Jordan was controlling the West Bank, and there was no cry for a Palestinian state. So some people say, okay, well, you had the opportunity, and for some reason, once the Jews controlled those regions, then you wanted a Palestinian state. What would you say for that objection for people that are like, it's not really about the state, it's more about wanting to undermine Israel? That like, what's your response to that?
I think
It's a loaded question, I know.
it is. I think Gaza is one of the examples, but we can see what happened when the Palestinian society gets a leadership of their own. I think nowadays it's something that I cannot play on. Something that if they will have something of their own, I cannot trust that Gaza won't happen again and the October 7th won't happen again.
Good conversation. I actually don't think that there's that much of a disagreement between a lot of the right and the left and people that are so-called conservatives, so-called moderates. I think once you get in the details, which will take time, I know we both, want to do other stuff, whatever, but it's good to have these conversations because a lot of people don't want to have these conversations and then you end up creating problems, static, conflict. So I appreciate you coming on. Do you have any final words you want to say to everybody? I have a big Israeli audience and also American audience.
I want to say that you are welcome to follow my content and see more of my perspective about things in Israel. I share it in Arabic because I believe that this is the way to build bridges. And I'm talking about Israel and share the moderated voice. So you're more than welcome to.
I'll link her down below. Thank you for having a conversation.